on paper, and I am so excited to be back with Stretch the Sketch. This is a series or hop that was started by Janet Fritz of Galaxy Girl Creations, and I will have everyone that's playing along listed below. But I am so excited to be playing along with this. This is one of my first YouTube hops that I remember just falling in love with, and I'm so excited to be a part of this. I worked ahead, so I just want to explain things a little bit. So our sketch today is by Dusty Attic, A Year of Sketches, week 50. And I will have had that sketch at the beginning. It's a little hard to, with this double page layout, to have it up in the corner. I struggled, and I think part of it is the time of year. It's getting close to Christmas. There's lots to get done, and I just felt pressured, and I don't like that. I want to be creative, and that is my kind of my stress reliever. So I pulled out a couple different like summer collections and stuff, and just wasn't feeling it. I went into I have an iris bin of what I call rainbow, because it's just a lot of colors. And I found this. It was a paper pack. It's pulled apart, but it's got all this different colors, and just fun. Thin. It is very thin, and I pulled it out, and I found these. Now, this solid color, I couldn't make it work with another patterned paper, so I pulled this out. This is from Paper Studio at Hobby Lobby, and it's this fun, almost kind of shimmery, but it's a pretty, it's not lilac, indigo, periwinkle, I think is the name of it. So how fun is that? And it plays well with all the other colors going on here. This piece here is actually Project Life. When I make my photos, and if I on the Project Life app, you can take 2 photos and print them as a 4x6, and it saves you money. Because if you're going to print some kind of wallet, I don't know what size it would end up, they're more expensive. It's just crazy. So if I don't have even number of photos, I pick out things from the Project Life app, and that's what I found for this. So I'm thinking I might be using that. I'll tell you about the photos. The photos on this, well, it's all the same day. It was February of last year when the kids came down to Florida. We were there for 3 weeks. The kids were there for a long weekend, and we walked. This is our from our walk to the dolphin speedboat thing. So and it all goes well with the colors. So what I'm going to do is get things sped up and then do the fun part of the embellishments. So let's get scrapping. I sped this up really fast because it felt like it took me a long time, but it's a 2-page layout. The items you see me taking out of my stash are from Pretty Little Studio. It's lemonade labeled die cuts. These I've had for a little while, and I like it. Helps with the bright color. I like bright colors, and I think it matches with the papers I'm using. But in my eyes, the papers are kind of pastel looking. So, and I also have, I think they're Paper Studio Mermaids, which I would never really gravitate to or use on a use on a sketch, but I do believe I got them from my kids' stash. So, and my kids are young adults, so I don't know what they were doing with those, but no judgment here. So, I did take out any kind of the labels that said summer on them and just really picked out the more tropical ones. This page is cut down to 9x9, and I am going to slide it all the way to the left hand side so that it butts up against the other side. The other side is the background piece is 9x9 as well. And then I pre-cut the other pieces, and you're not going to see a lot of any one of the background pieces or any one of the pattern papers really at all. And then I also turn these so that I want the blue kind of towards the outside, so it worked well to do that. That piece right now is about 6x12, and then I'm just going to, can't remember exactly how I eyeballed it up, but oh, I think it was because I just trimmed it off so that the 3 circles were all the way across on the top. So I'm paying attention to what side of the paper I'm trimming off as well. Here with these like mermaid scales, I will bend that so that I know kind of where that is, where I want to cut that. And then realizing that I just trim off less because you can't make it longer, but you can make it shorter, which I did. And then I will just measure the pieces on the right to get the same on the left. Now, this is not exactly the same as the sketch, but if you see my channel before, you know I talk about sketches being a jumping off point, so it doesn't have to be exactly. And when you're stretching it too, there's things you're going to change. So my middle pieces are not floating out there like the sketches. They're connected on the left. And then I kind of do my dimensions a little bit differently, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So I just love these. That big circle paper is so fun. And again, it gets so covered up, but I like this. Even though it's a little, like I said, it's a little pastel-y for me. Sometimes pastel-y is okay. So I will glue this down, and when I was gluing this down, I looked at the wrong layering piece. The square behind is much more short on the top than it is on the bottom, but that's okay. This turns out just fantastically. And if I ever want to do this sketch again, I can use it to make it more correct and give it a different look. And so then I will realize that once I'm laying this piece down, but I decide just to do the same thing, give it a little bit higher on top, a little bit lower on the bottom. And it really could have been centered if you wanted to, but and I use 3-ring albums for my albums, and they won't line up exactly in the middle, but I do like kind of have that as a kind of help me line things up. I butt them up so that in case anybody wants to be very judgmental, which they won't, that it will look lined up. So I'm going to lay down the photos. That 2x2 photo, I knew there was no way I'm having a 2x2 photo, so I thought I would just use embellishment pieces. Once I got these together, I decided to push the vertical pieces closer together. I will move those out a little bit because I will put some embellishments on the inside there. Here's where I start to think about what am I going to put over there. And I first thought about cutting that down 2x2, but then I realized I have this mermaid that fits perfectly on there, so I was quite excited to see this. Now, this is a extremely old, I don't know if you've ever seen these before, but back when I started scrapbooking, they had them. And they have a little, it's almost like a charm, and they're super thin, but they are metal. So I just, with my scissors, trimmed off the hook or the loop piece, and then I'm just going to glue them right to the page. And I was a little afraid that those were going to look odd next to the mermaids, but I think I moved them around so that I think they look okay there. Those 2 circular bits are from the Pretty Little Studio die cut collection. I have used some of these pieces before, so this is what I have left, but I'll move those around. At first I was going to use those little tags that I've already made, and I went with the circles instead of those tags. I used my tab punch to make little tabs at the top, thinking I might add a date up there. I'm not certain. And here are my gold charm pieces, and that really makes me happy. And it makes me happier when I find a little label that can go right behind those pieces. So I trim it in half. Oop, I'm going to work on the other mermaids, I guess. I've got a journaling spot instead of the strips of paper to journal on. And I still have more of this collection that I haven't used, so I'll have that. I really like those colors. There goes another mermaid. Oh, and then I found this one and I thought, oh, it's just a little bit of color over for the other side. Here's where I'll use that label, and I figure out if I cut this in half, it can go behind those gold pieces in it. That way you can see them better rather than just leaving them on the mermaid scale pieces. I think it just helps it to blend in. Here I found a tag. I have several with this collection, and so I'm going to sneak that in there. That little piece says hello, so I thought it felt like it says hello, sun. I didn't tell you about the about the pictures. Well, I did. We're dolphin watching, so that was fun. And now that I have everything figured out where it's going, I'm gonna glue it down. And I'm generally pretty careful with this because if I just picked up all these pieces off the page, I'm not gonna remember where they're going. So I know I've already got my background pieces down. I'll get those blue strips down. And I start on the left page and I'll move to the right. I really like how that one card just gives that much more color, and it's almost, it's like an embellishment next to that photo. And the other thing is I'm trying to place the photo so I don't leave any kind of trapped spaces. So you'll see I think about moving that picture on the left over more to the right, but I do just give it a little bit of a, I guess you'd call it a gully, so that it doesn't have trapped space in the middle. If I had something more to go into that blue square piece that's under the top photo, I probably, I would have overlapped it with the top photo. See, I'm still trying to decide. Nope, give it a little spot there. But I didn't want to go looking for something more just to stick it down in that spot. So I gave it a little, it might still look like it needs something there, but um, I didn't want to overdo either. So I've already stuck down there's a sticker, a watermelon sticker there, and that charm. I used glue on it's photo paper, so I used glue on that. And I glue that down with my ATG. And then I think that tab just needs a little something. And so there was like a little bit of seaweed, I guess it would. So I stuck that on there. And then I'm going to use a tag. That tag has cactuses on it. Which I guess there's probably cactuses in Florida. Not when you're dolphin watching, but that's okay. Um, it's all the right colors. So, and there's a little blank spot on that picture, so I feel okay with overlapping into the water there. And then now I have the left side down. I feel comfortable with going over to the right side and again lining it up according to how I glue things down on the left. So I'll start by gluing the blue vertical piece down, and then I will move to the photos and the embellishments and just kind of holding them in place so that I don't forget where things go. I just love how that little mermaid just sits right in there like it was meant to be. Please check out below for everybody that's playing along with Stretch the Sketch. You will find lots of talented people on that list. And it is fun to see how they take the one sketch and make it into a 2-page layout. Actually, they can actually shrink the sketch too, so not everybody's making a 2-page layout. You just can't make another 12 by 12 layout. Oh, here I am putting the twine, not twine. That I'm putting that through the tag hole, and then I will get the hello piece down along with and I'm just using the ATG for the other those charms there. There's a sun one, there's a fish one, there's a flip-flop, and then the shell one. I want to thank you, all my subscribers, or all my watchers too. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Thank you for all the comments, all the love, all the likes. I just appreciate you, and you make this so fun. The sunglasses that are on the right bottom side, I had cut with my Cricut for a different layout. I used a bunch, and those were the 2 left over, so that will make it on the page. Right there, I put a lot into thought of how it should lay there exactly. But I'm just happy when that works out and it matches the pinks that are in the collection. So here are my LA Studio bits. Because I had the seaweed on the left tab, I wanted something on the right tab. So I found a little heart that matches the mermaid's tail on the left bottom side of the right page. Here I go with my Barely Art glue, and I'm going to get that glued down. I'll figure out which way it looks the best in a second. I'm super excited to be scrapbooking these warm weather layouts. I'm getting ready for Christmas. I've got things in order, but it's still stressful. So to be able to scrapbook these warm weather photos puts a big smile on my face, and I hope you are enjoying it too. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon back at my channel.